Well, hey, everybody, and welcome to another live episode of The Grid. My name is Scott Kelby, but that's not important because we are joined by one of the most awesome people in the entire world. Guitar player for ZZ Top, or Peter Hurley. Peter, welcome.
Hey, Scott.
Good to have you here, man.
Oh, my gosh, it's good to be back on a new set. Look at this, guys. This is cool.
Peter didn't realize we had a new set. He walks in, he goes, what are we doing over here? We're like, we're on the different side of the room. I know, it's a world gone mad, but we're very glad to have you here. You're in town. You were doing sailboat racing?
Yeah, I'm doing some sailing. There were 2 regattas down here. It coincided with my kids' winter break.
Oh, that's nice.
So I had a regatta over the weekend, this past weekend, and then I got till tomorrow starts the next regatta, which goes through Sunday. So I just spent the last 2 days at Disney in a whirlwind.
Oh, that's nice.
And
Disney's awesome anytime.
The kids had fun, but then the rain hit, and I had to get here, and it was just a little bit of craziness getting here today, but it was fun.
Peter walked in like 3 minutes before airtime, but for Peter, that's actually early. All right, hey, we're going to give a couple of quick shout-outs here. We'll start with this one because Peter's got one of his a headshot crew protege here, K Lampar, or it could be K Lampar, Clamper. It's hard to say, but says nice. Salute to Peter from a headshot crew protege. Fran Hughes says, hey, all, first time seeing the new titles and new set. Can't wait. Wow, the set looks flawless. Thank you, Fran. Loopy Bridget's here. Hi, Loopy. She says, hello again from Charlotte, North Carolina. And hello from Michigan, from Donna. Here. She says, love KelbyOne. We always read those, by the way. People say that. We always read those. Pam is here with us from Tulsa. Good evening to all from the UK, from Welshman, 1949.
I don't know if you saw it, but Pam put some stuff on Twitter of each of our old grids. She took pictures and then photoshopped.
Oh, yeah, I didn't see him. Yeah.
So, Pam, thank you for doing that. That was kind of cool because you could see the different phases of
your hair. Yeah. So can we really quickly, before we get into it, we have to talk about your hair because it's a constantly changing thing. It has its own ecosystem, and it's constantly changing. So where are we going with the hair today?
Well, what happened was I was in a growth mode. We discussed it.
I remember.
Forever, and then my goals were up in the air. And every time, you're about the only one that I discussed my hair goals with.
And I appreciate that.
And I didn't allude that this was happening to you, so I don't know if you're shocked or not. But after Photo Plus, I decided not to shave, so I decided to grow the beard. And then I was just a test, and my wife liked it. And I was like, it doesn't even faze me that it's on my face. I don't even realize it's there. I scare myself when I look in the mirror because I don't recognize myself. But other than that, it's fine.
You're like, oh my God, someone from ZZ Top broke in my house.
Exactly. And then I decided to do a headshot crew promotion / kind of nice little challenge thing where I would shave my head if we fired up 300 subscriptions to the headshot crew within a 2-week period. It was from the time I went to that the Photo Pro Expo,
right
in Kentucky.
That's a great show.
That was an amazing show. I had a great time there, and that's the second time I had done it, which was phenomenal. We had a great day. I did an extra day with a whole group of like 80 people. It was awesome, and then all the way through to WPPI. So on the last day of WPPI, I hit the 300 mark, and I was going to do 500. I was going to shave the beard. We didn't hit that, but I hit the 300 mark. So I called Sue Bryce, who happened to start out as a hairstylist, makeup artist. And I said, would you shave my head? And I asked Canon if we could do it in the Canon booth. And they said, sure. So at the end of the show at WPPI, we shaved my head live on stage. And Sue did a fantastic job. I haven't touched it since. Sue's amazing.
It looks good.
So that was it.
I like it. It's a different look for you. It'll take me a little bit to get used to it, but you know what? I'm used to your hair looking different every time I see you.
Yeah, well, we took the pieces and we're giving it to Locks of Love. So it was
that's
long
good.
enough, and
well
we put
done.
rubber bands, and we did everything, so it was for a good cause.
Well done.
Yeah.
Well, we're very glad to have you here. Our topic today is 10 can't-miss tips for connecting with your subject. So we're talking about photographing people, obviously, and this is I think it's one of the most important things for getting the kind of images that we want from our portraits. I don't know how often you want someone to be posed. Does anybody ever hire you and go, I just want to be posed in a stiff position? Nobody really wants that, right? So how do you get that natural thing? And it really is about connecting. And I think in our industry, you are absolutely one of the best of connecting with the subjects. You just have a way with people, but not everybody does. So that's what today we're going to help you out and give you. We're going to pick Peter's brain. I got a few ideas too, but really it's about Peter and helping you to connect with your subjects. Hey, a couple things I want to mention, just little housekeeping things. Do you know that this is episode 272 of The Grid? Also, little known fact, do you know that we have an audio-only version? So there's an audio-only version you can subscribe to on iTunes. So if you want to just listen to us, it's kind of tough when you do our like blind photo critiques.
Oh, listening.
Just listening. Yeah. And anyone that's listening to the audio version, and we have, which surprisingly enough, we have a tremendous amount of people that only listen. It's got to be tough on the blind critique day. But so I'm just going to tell everyone listening by audio only, like, close your eyes and picture Peter with a shaved head and a ZZ Top beard, and he's naked. Well, he is naked, which is weird. But I didn't expect him to show up naked, but he's totally nude. So this is when you would switch over to the video version and see that, well, he actually is not. Anyway, so that's coming up. Also, I know a lot of you are coming to Photoshop World. We had a webcast this week. A bunch of people tuned in. I just want to mention that March 17th is the deadline to turn in the Guru Awards. So, we have that competition just for people that come to Photoshop World called the Photoshop World Guru Awards. The deadline to enter is, and this is only for people coming to Photoshop World, March 17th. Also, our film festival, the Photoshop World Film Festival, which you did for the first time last year, the deadline to enter, March 17th. Also, we added a brand new category to the Guru Awards. Ready? Student category.
Oh, that's great.
So it's just wide open for students. We're doing a lot of things for students. We have a panel for students. We have so many things for students, special deals for students, all that kind of stuff. Okay, so that's what's going on here. Also, Jared Poland, Fro.
Yeah.
Have you downloaded his app?
I believe I think
if you haven't downloaded it,
I did.
Go download My Gear Vault. I've been hawking this thing because I think it's really great. It is basically an app to like when you're doing a shoot.
Yeah.
Now you shoot headshots all the time.
No,
and
I went through it. A bunch of the crew members have it in it. We talked about I was going to get Jared on a crew cast, but we haven't done that yet. But everybody downloaded it. I think it's on my phone, and I just haven't had the time to peruse it.
Yeah, it's great because I can set up one for sports and one for travel and one for portraits, and you just click on it, and here's all the things you're supposed to take. But it keeps track of all your stuff. It even shows you insurance. Like you can buy insurance in the app. Anyway, go check it out. It's for iOS. It's free. It's called My Gear Vault, and it's from Jared Poland. Go check it out. We have some giveaways today. Guess what we're giving away? Just
no way. There she blows.
Yes, the greatest book on headshots ever written. It's Peter Hurley's The Headshot, right? And this is Peter.
It only exists because of you. So thank you.
I'm not taking any credit for this. Peter wrote in an unbelievable book. It is beautifully illustrated, and everyone loves this. This is one of the most beloved books ever. So we'll be giving that away along with two, let's hold them correctly, two $50 gift certificates from Lens Pro To Go. Lens Pro To Go basically rents you gear. You can rent like a lens for a weekend or a lens for a wedding or whatever sporting event. Really great people, and they have and customer service is insane. We're giving away two of these. These are only good in the U.S., so if you live in Finland, don't ask for that one. The last one is we are going to give away a 1-year membership to KelbyOne.com, our online training educational community for people who want to get really good at Photoshop, Lightroom, and photography. There are classes there from Peter Hurley, including a brand new class that you just did recently. So Peter's like all over it.
Yeah, well, no. Every time I want to do something with you, you come up with the best ideas. Like I have mental blocks about what I could teach or what I could do, and you're like, well, why don't you just do this? And I'm like, yes, okay,
yes,
let's do that.
So well, you know what it is? Because I just asked to learn the things that I want to learn from you. Yeah. Like I think, wow, I would love to know Peter's like top 10 headshot questions. Like, what are the top 10 things he gets asked? I would love to know the answers. The only way I'll get to do that is if I get Peter to do a class, because he's like a moving target. He's so busy all the time. But we got got a couple more shout outs here real quick. The Real Becky from Cali says, Peter Hurley, woo woo, love your headshot book. Use the forehead trick all the time. Pam says, You guys are looking great. Thank you, Pam. Renlock says, Peter looks like Walter White. Badass.
I've been getting
That's
that
his words,
quite a
not
bit.
mine.
I've been getting that.
Paul says, howdy from Dallas, Texas. This is great. I just got Peter's book by my request for his birthday.
Awesome, Paul.
Great book. Matt Charninsky says, Peter, I met one of your headshot cruise photographers. Your headshot crew photographers here in Austin. He had awesome things to say about it. Love the new class, by the way.
Awesome. Thanks, man.
Matt McConnell, howdy from Texas. Peter, I've learned so much from your tutorials. And Mark Rodriguez says, howdy. I'm sorry. Hey, Peter. Howdy from one father of twins to another. Look at that. Carolina says, hi from Sweden. Oh, I love your work, both of you. Smiley face. Stuart Jones, love it when you randomly open a Facebook and get to catch the grid live. Oh, it's so random. Thank you, Stuart. Hey, Stuart, while you're on Facebook, this would be a great time to tell your friends go watch the grid, wouldn't it?
Yeah, sure.
Like you're already on Facebook.
You're here.
This is a great time. If you're on Twitter, just like hanging out,
button that
tweeting,
share. It says share.
Share that bad boy.
Share it.
All right. So, what is the best way to do a headshot with a full beard? Oh, there you go. Well, that's one
from
of
my end of things, or from the subjects.
Good evening. Look, I'm just going to shout these out. Jens is here. Jens here from Germany. Robert from Brazil. Gustav from Chile. Loris from Slovakia. Jens here from South Korea. Let's see. We got
Geraldine from South Africa.
Yeah. Yafet from the Sudan. Arun is here from Switzerland. Ben is here and says it's Ben and Bridget from windy Nottinghamshire. It's not Shire. It's Nottinghamshire. As best as I can tell. Oh gosh, everybody's here from Zambia. Joshua. There's just so many. I'm going to read this one. Karen says, Peter's class is phenomenal. Anthony says, I love Peter's book in the class on KelbyOne. Why is he so shy, though? You know, Peter really is. All right, our topic today.
I like Roberts. I need that book in my life.
I need that book in my life. Well, you might win it today. All right, we'll get Peter to sign it while he's here, too, because he's very signy. All right, Dallas Lumbert, always going to read yours, says KelbyOne rocks. D says love KelbyOne. Thank you guys so much. Okay. 10 can't miss tips for connecting with your subject, and we have honestly one of the very best people in the world for connecting with their subject, the amazing Peter Hurley. Peter, give us a tip for connecting with your subject. So a lot of people, most people that we wind up shooting are not professional models. It's not as hard to connect with professional models because they're like connection specialists. But when you're shooting like the vice president of marketing or the president of a company or someone, you wind up you do a lot of corporate gigs.
Yeah,
where you're brought in to shoot, like at Fortune 500 companies, you're brought in to. What are some of your tips for connecting with your subject?
Number one is you're the expert. Act like one. That's the problem. Like, you're the expert. Guys, you are the ones that are supposed to know about this. Don't expect anybody to know. Even the models I shoot, I have to deprogram them because they got their 5 moves. And I don't like their 5 moves. I want more out of them. So I deprogram them. But the people who don't know anything are relying on you to get this going. So if you're going to act like an expert, what's going to happen? You're going to behave like an expert, and that person's going to listen to you, hopefully, because you're actually confident in what you do. So to behave like an expert, you have to be confident. So it all stems from confidence and knowing that that's what you're there for. You're there to coach them. That's what we do as photographers. They can't see themselves, And,
it also builds a level of trust. Like when they feel like, oh, okay, this guy's got it. If they feel like, okay, everything's under control, people like being in the hands of a professional. They like knowing, okay, this guy's got it. I don't have to worry about this. If you're kind of in there like, what are we going to do today? Well, we'll just kind of see what happens. We'll go back and, it's like.
If you're like, well, we're just going to get you real relaxed and I'm going to start taking some pictures and we're going to do that. Like, it's got to be very decisive what you're doing. You can't be wishy-washy. You can't, just be flying by the seat of your pants. You have to have a game plan, know what you've got. I call it my shtick. I have my shtick. I know what I'm doing, and I've given you guys the tips. Most of you guys know the first biggest tip I have was the blog post that year.
Yep.
When I did that was the first time I ever got us acquainted with Scott. We talked and Brad got me to do a blog post for you, and it's now over 3 million hits. The Jawline blog post.
You know why? Because it is, number one, it's great. You did a wonderful presentation on it. and it actually works. It's not theoretical. It's not one of those things. It really, really works. And you were the first person to really ever talk about that. Yeah. I'd never heard anyone talk about it before, and it works the jawline. I mean, it enhances your jawline. Every picture I take, the very first thing I do is that.
Yeah.
And I squinch.
It's number one. And you got to squinch.
You got to
squinch. We've been getting picked up with squinching a lot lately. It's funny. Like the guy, one of my headshot crew guys, and Damien, who's my retoucher at Cloak and Dagger, he texts me and he goes, do you understand that I live in Plattsburgh, New York, and I had the radio on, and the radio DJs were talking about the squinch.
Yeah.
It's like randomly.
Well,
that's so awesome.
You know what it is? You basically are showing people how to look better in photos, and no one's being there. More people are taking selfies and taking pictures of their friends, taking pictures with phones than any time in history. And when you can say, here's how to look better in a photo, here's how to look better in every photo you take, people are like, all I got to do is that. I mean, it really is it was a breakthrough thing. So, hey, Matt Charninsky actually has a question for you, Peter. He says, you always talk about your shtick. In fact, you just talked about it a moment ago. Yeah. As you've been developing that, is it like a collection of one-liners? Is it a framework for starting a conversation with us? Can you tell us more about how you develop your shtick?
Well, I think you go through a process. I've been going through a process for 17 years with it. I mean, right now I'm at a phase where there's so much going on in my brain that I really just read people. And it's a phenomenal thing to get to this. It all stems from confidence and your level of confidence behind the camera. When I stand behind my camera, my brain isn't thinking about ISO shutter speed lighting or anything. It's thinking about the person and their energy in front of my camera and how they're behaving, and then their behavior and what I'm feeling and feeding. And our energy is. If you're nervous, your subject's going to feel it. You know. So if I'm the confident one behind the camera and I can sense that person's nervous, I'm going to speak to them one way. If I feel like they trust me and they're kind of chilled out already, I could speak to them another way. So it's kind of a hodgepodge of a gazillion things going through my head that I've worked on over the past 17 years. But I lay it out in terms of how it started. The first thing I did was repetition. So you guys all know this. You guys have all been working on your shtick. You know that if you get somebody in front of your camera, you have things that you know you will say that work for you, whether you're trying to get them to smile or get them to chill out. Never say, don't tell them to relax anything. That just draws attention to the fact that they're tense. Don't do that. But if you have these things that you know work, when I started, I would write down everything that worked. And then I would do it in a repetitive order. I did the same thing every day for years. And now I don't have to repeat anymore because I have so much up here that I now have. I think the one thing, and I talk about this a lot, you don't master direction ever. I think you just get better and better and better and better and better, and it changes. So mine has changed now to the point where I actually just read people and get them to do what I want in a way that I'm confident. So the energy between us is they become chill. And then I get what I want out of them. And I also have techniques that I use that sometimes I do. Well, we started this thing. I don't know if you remember this, but we did this chapter called, I called it my pre-shutter release split second checklist. And you were like,
I'm making notes. I want to tell about
this. I tell this story all the time, and he's probably never heard this story. So I'm sitting here with you. We transcribed this book, guys. This was all him. I mean, it was us together, but it wouldn't have happened without this guy sitting and taking his time. And I think I think for 6 months we put an iPhone in between us and recorded. I came down here like every month or two to do it. We did. It was really great.
I learned more in 6 months than I had in 6 years.
It was amazing. So my pre-shutter release split-second checklist was what I called this. And you were like, that's a little long. Can't you come up with something? But he said, why don't you call it the Hurley system? And I was like, what? It's my pre-shutter release split-second. He said, call it the Hurley system. So there's a chapter in here that is called, it's chapter 10, I believe. Chapter 10, the Hurley system. By the way, guys, if you sign up for Headshot Crew, the promotion is that you can get the book. If you sign up for 2 months of Headshot Crew, I will sign the book and mail it to you anywhere in the world. So go to headshotcrew.com if you want to do that.
That's headshotcrew.com.
So the Hurley system. In the Hurley system, and maybe, I don't know if we can get it up on the screen. Do I have the Hurley system somewhere online?
No.
All right, no. So there's 5 points. Anyway, one specific point is, I'll just read through them real quick. 1, position the body. 2, position the head. 3, hair and clothing scan. 4, composure shot. 5 is the most important, and it is add stimuli that elicits a facial reaction. So guys, if you're doing this out of order, you're going to get like hair out of place, or your composition will be off, or something's going to be weird. You have to do it in order. And once you're ready in their position, then you can say something to get a reaction out of them. And what's the other chapter? The next chapter? What's the Hurleyisms chapter? I'm giving you guys.
It's a little later.
Where is it?
Keep going.
Here it is.
There it is.
Chapter 13 is Hurleyisms, and these are the things that I say to elicit that facial reaction. And I'm going to do even better. You can bring this one up. I didn't tell you, but anybody back there, get up Hurleyisms.com. If you guys go to Hurleyisms.com, I made a web browser-based app for it. You can see 50 of my favorite one-liners, and you can use them on your next shoot. I didn't show you this. Have I told you about this?
Yes.
You've seen it?
Yes, I have. I've been there.
Oh, you have? Okay, good. I didn't know.
So I just wanted to point, there it is right there. So I just wanted to point out just 2 things that you said. I think this is a big one. This is like tweetable, where you said, do not tell your subjects to relax, because it does have the exact opposite effect.
Oh, yeah. Unless you're saying relax your epiglottis.
Well, yes, I'm relaxing my epiglottis right now.
I can see a lot of
Thank
tension in there. Actually, your earlobes are tense. Can you relax those?
I'm doing that right now.
Thank you.
Hey, so you ever go to a restaurant and they put the plate down and they say, don't touch the plate. Watch out, it's really hot. What's the first thing we do?
Oh, yeah.
The opposite of what they said. They said, don't touch the plate, and we go like that. Tell someone not to tell someone to relax, they do the opposite. Because like you said, you're projecting that. The other thing I wanted to point out, and this is a key thing from what you said, was when you said, I don't think about the ISO, I don't think about the shutter speed, I don't think about my f-stop. And one of my things that I would say about connecting with your subject is right along those lines, is get really good at your camera gear and your lighting, so you can stop messing with those. Because a lot of times what happens is, in the shoot, you're messing with your camera, you're messing with the settings, you're messing with the lighting, and you're missing the most important thing, which is connecting with your subject. At the end of the day, it won't be the camera settings that make a great shot. You're in a studio, you got a lighting set up. It's not going to be like, wow, I'm glad I used F8 instead of F9. It's not going to be the camera settings that really make the big difference. It's going to be that connection. And if you look at Peter's work, you see this throughout. You're not like, wow, did he pick the right f-stop? His ISO is right on the money.
Yeah.
Now, that being said, his ISO and his lighting and all, it's all extremely tight. Because he's done it for so long, because he's so comfortable with it, he can focus on the other stuff, the really important stuff. And I always tell people, once you get your lighting set up, stop messing with the lighting. Right. Because you can basically spend your whole day just moving and tweaking and moving and tweaking. Yesterday, we shot over 1,000 shots at an all-day shoot yesterday. Different models, different outfits, different stuff all day long. We would get the lighting set up, and we wouldn't touch it again. And then all we could focus on was the connection and getting things done and working and stuff. And it's just, when you start messing with the equipment and you start messing with the camera settings, something's going to suffer. And that's why I thought that was great that you said that.
The subject's suffering.
Yeah,
what do you think they're doing?
While you're moving the lights and while you're doing all this kind of stuff.
What do you think they're doing?
Hey, Rose Kieran says, I nearly dropped my camera when you talked about Peter being in the nude and the shaved head. The shaved head part's true. He's only nude from the waist down. Let's see. Says, it looks like you two guys should be talking about some badass music project. We really should. Let's see. We got a question to Peter. We're going to hold this one because this is a longer one. I'd like you to dive into this after the break. So we're going to take... Jock says, Peter looks upside down. We're going, that little tuft there could be like a goatee. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we are talking 10 can't miss tips for connecting with your subject. Peter's given us some good ones, and I got a feeling we're going to get a really good one when we come back. Stick around. We are live right here on the grid. Don't go away.
Hey, Rick Salmon here. I have the honor, I have the pleasure of being an instructor at Photoshop World 2017 in Orlando, Florida, April 20th through 22nd. I'm going to try to get to as many classes as I can, but I hope you can come to my classes. One is how to have more fun in Photoshop. Number 2 is evolution of an image. I talk through the evolutionary process of an image. And the third class is travel photography. I'm Rick Salmon. I'll see you there.
Hey guys, my name's Peter Hurley and you are here in my studio and I am going to teach this class on the top 10 questions I get regarding headshot photography. So here's what you're going to get. These are big ones. You ready? How do you chill out your subject? How do you get their good side? How do you take weight off of somebody that's a little bit heavier? How do you get glare out of the glasses? What about continuous versus strobe? I'm going to go over those and many more in this class. Come join me on KelbyOne.com.
I'm Dave Cross. If you find that you struggle making selections in Photoshop, then my class on selection tools and techniques is what you need to get to the next level. In this class, we're going to talk about not only all the individual selection tools, but strategies on how to use the tools in tandem to end up with a great selection. We'll look at specific functions like color range and select and mask, all with the same goal: help you make more accurate selections more quickly and easily. Check out my class only at KelbyOne.com.
Hey, we are back. Scott Kelby here with our special guest in the studio, none other than Mr. Peter Hurley, looking very recoiffed this week. This is a new look for you, but I love it. People are liking it, and some people are saying you look upside down. All right, real quickly, I just want to mention, hey, go over to LightroomKillerTips.com if you get a chance. It's a daily blog that I write there, all about Lightroom, and I've got a pretty cool video for you today. It's called Lightroom by the Numbers. It's a bunch of keyboard shortcuts that all use numbers. So if you're a Lightroom user, go check it out. All right, so hey, there it is. There's Lightroom Killer Tips right there. And you're like, wow, it looks like a lot of stuff. It looks like someone put something there every freaking day. Yeah, that would be me. Anyway, go by and check it. Hey, there's a picture of me. Anyway, so go. It's LightroomKillerTips.com. I hope you'll check it out. So we have a really good question that I want to pose here. Of course, there's lots of Miroslav says, hello, this is awesome. And then he wants me to whisper this: SHABANG from Germany. Yeah. So it's a whispered shebang.
Whisper shebang. I usually do whisper shebangs as a because the real shebang's loud and
but the whisper shebang though is very tasteful.
Whisper shebang. Everybody that's out there, just a real quick, we'll do a 3, 2, 1. Just whisper shebang wherever you are. 3, 2, 1. Shebang.
Troy says, Peter is my photography hero. Joey Wright. Oh, Joey Wright is such a great photographer. Joey says, it's been a minute since I've seen the grid. I've been going through the draws. Great new set, by the way. Thank you, Joey. And let's see who else we got here. Luvelli says, confidence and consistency. That's the key. Now, I think it's just what you were saying. It's like that confidence goes a long, long way in making your subject feel comfortable and that they're in good hands.
They feel it.
They feel it. They absolutely feel it. In fact, that was one of the things that I wrote here is that your subject will become a mirror of what you are. If you're really confident, they'll become confident. If you look nervous, if you look like you don't know what they're doing, they're going to be nervous and feel like they don't know what they're doing. But the question I wanted to set up for you is from Johan, who Johan is one of our regulars. He watches all the episodes. He's a great guy. Cool. Let's see. He says, question to Peter. He says, I love all of Peter's lessons, but I am quite shy in contact with models. I could never do what he does. Now, before I get to the next part of things, so Johan, I will say this, and I'm not just trying to say this because Peter's here, because I would say it even if Peter wasn't here. We should not aspire to try to be Peter. He has a very, very unique thing, and it's not just with people on his set. Peter can meet anyone anywhere, and he just has a charisma and a way of connecting with people that is honestly rare. Part of the reason Peter is because he has this thing in him that makes people love him. Anybody, it can be the janitor. They're like, I just met Peter and he's just the greatest guy. So Peter does have a natural magnetism, but that doesn't mean that you can't develop a really solid thing. So the question, Peter's asking, that Johan's asking of Peter. So what can he do to improve his shyness?
Well, first of all, confidence is learned. The first thing that we want to do with everybody, every photographer out there gets somebody in front of their camera, and we all want to take a good picture. and that's the wild card, is that we're creating art. Like it's not created yet. We haven't done it. We haven't hit the shutter yet, and we don't know till we hit the shutter exactly what it's going to look like. So we all want that. So we have this kind of anxious feeling about getting the shot, right? So that creates a little bit more probably anxiety on our end as the photographer. So the best thing you can do is have your stuff down. If you have your technique down, if like I haven't changed my lighting. I really haven't. I mean, I learned how to use continuous light in 2004, and I've been using it ever since. And I really haven't changed it much at all. I created With Westcott, I created my lights called the Flex Kit, and that was 2 years ago. I started using that, I think. But the setup and the lighting, everything's the same. So if I've got that, and I know that the person walking in my studio is walking into the best light possible, what does that do for my confidence? Now I know I just got to work with them a little bit. Like, get your technique down, and you can build confidence. And it's totally, I know it's learned, because I was not this guy 5 years ago. 5 years ago, I got an email and I nearly fell off my chair from this guy saying, hey, we're doing this. I really like that blog post that you did. And would you mind, we're going to San Francisco for this Google photography conference. Do you mind coming and speaking at it? I had only spoken at the B&H store in the event space. Have you been in that room?
Yeah.
It's not huge.
No, I've spoken there.
Yeah, it's not huge.
Yep.
And then that place full is like 100 people. And I think the first
snacks
time
are great,
I was so, those little those unbelievable. So I know, I got to get the orange ones. Next time I go, there's going to be a bowl full of orange ones. Anyway, I'm in that space, and I had never spoken before, and I was very nervous and completely freaked out when I spoke. But I got it done, and I got through it. So when I got your email, I was like, well, I've spoken at B&H. Maybe I can do this. I was like, I got it. How could I pass up Scott's? This is an opportunity for me. So we go to, and I don't know if you know, I've told you this story, I think, before, because you probably doesn't faze you. How many times has he spoken in front of a gazillion people and kicked off huge shows and everything? So the Google guys, apparently, we get there, and my keynote just got delivered to me that morning. I'm freaking out because I didn't know how to use Keynote, so a friend of mine worked on it for me. And the audience is all there, and the Google guys were like, we need that time slot that this guy Peter Hurley's in, and we have to switch with him. So Scott gets up there and he does the keynote, and he tells everybody, don't move, because there's this guy coming up that you got to see. His name's Peter Hurley. And if you guys go find that, because it's online. You can find the video of it. I'll tell you, I was so nervous that I wish the video was there of me trying to press play on the keynote. You know how big the keynote, like my fingers were shaking like this so much that I couldn't get it to hit play. And finally I got it to hit play. Luckily I had a bunch of t-shirts I was throwing out to the crowd, and some music was playing, and I kind of got through it. But my brother saw it. He's like, wow, you were a mess. I said, I know. I was a complete mess.
Okay, now here's the truth. However you felt, you were a huge hit at that show. All anybody could talk about was Peter Hurley. So regardless of how you felt it came off, I was standing in the audience. I wasn't sitting because I was still working, but I stood in the back, and you were amazing. And you were a huge hit. So however you may have been feeling inside, you were not projecting that. You know what you were projecting?
Get that.
You were projecting confidence and professionalism, and whether you could hit the play button or not, nobody knew that but you.
Okay, well then that's the same. That's what I'm trying to get at, is that now if you had put me in the same situation, I would have strolled out there, hit the play button, been like, let's go, guys. Because 5 years later, I'm a different being because of my time on stage and what I've been doing over the past 5 years. That's what I'm talking about. Confidence is learned. You guys can do this. You just gotta get the people in front of your cameras and let the nerves come in and fail and say stuff that doesn't make any sense and screw things up. And the more and more you do that, the more experience you have. Everybody that was a tough shoot for me is like a gift, because those are the ones you learn from. So you guys got to get out there and do it. You're not going to do it my way. I can give you my way, but my way is what I mean, it's what I do. It comes out of my brain. I don't know what goes on up here, but stuff comes out of it. And what you have to do is you have to get stuff to come out of your brain. And then once you get yourself together and your confidence is built, the people will feel it, and then you can throttle back and you'll feel better about yourself. But it all takes more people in front of your camera.
Yeah. And Johan, if there's a piece of advice that I could give you is, and I know that you do this as well, is to build up a rapport before you actually step in front of the camera. Is if you can get a few minutes, because if you just kind of go, hi, my name's Johan, let's come over to the set. All right, you'll stand here, and here, let me turn on the lights. If you can talk to them just as a person, not about photography, not about anything else, but just get to know them before you step on the set, then you're not a stranger photographing them. That you'll have some kind of thing. And a thing that I will normally do is I'll just try to find something that we have in common. Now, it may take a few guesses. If it's a guy, I usually start with sports. I'm like, so what do you think of the Patriots? How about that Tom Brady? Anyway, and if they're like, yeah, I'm not a sports fan, then I'm like, okay, and I can go through all these lists. Oh, what are you into? Oh, I'm really into golf or whatever. River is like, oh my gosh, I'm the worst golfer. They're like, really? What is it? Yeah, I'm too hippie in my swing. And you know what I mean? It's like I can find some common thread with just about anybody. If I can find some common ground, and Johan, if you can do that, by the time you get on the set, you've already established a rapport. You've already kind of got something going, and then you can kind of go, okay. But here's the one thing I would tell you: don't let it get quiet on your set, Johan. Just talk all the time. The whole time. And even if you're doing something with your camera, just tell them what you're doing with your camera. Don't just sit there and take a shot and go, yes, let me hold on. Wait. Okay, just a second. Let them know what's going on.
Yeah.
Even if it's meaningless, just go, all right, it was a little too dark. Let me fix this. But this is going to be good. Let me just give me a second, And you got to encourage your subjects. And the way that I do it is once I get a good shot, I don't do it till I have a good shot. But once I know that I've got, here's a good shot, it may take 20 shots to 30 shots or something to get one where I feel like, dang, that is a good shot of you. I go, wait, stop. You got to come and see this. You got to come check this out. I have them come back and look on my computer screen and see the shot. Once they see, hey, this looks good, guess what? You're now working together. Now you are a team. I'm not taking your picture. Now we're working together. You're excited. You were like, oh my gosh, I didn't know I could look that good. And I'm like, I didn't know you could look that good. No, just joking. But now you're working together. Now you're actually getting something done. And they go back. When they go back to get in front of your camera, pay particular attention, Johan, to how they appear after they think they look good. After they feel like, hey, this is working pretty good. This is great. Now we're working together. What do you want me to do? Do you want me to do this? Do you want me to? All of a sudden they're into it and they're excited because they know they're going to get a good shot. When they feel like it's going in the right direction, it changes everything.
That's why tethering's one of my ultimate, tools that I use when I'm shooting. I mean, if you do now, your light has to be good. Like if you tether and you've got bad lighting, you don't want to be. You got to work on your technique first. Get the lighting down. Once you know the lighting's good, then you're tethered. Do exactly what you said. I call it the shebang moment. I see the shebang on the screen, and I'm like, "Come over here, get over that." To me, that's a shebang, or whatever. Sometimes I like one-shot deals. Like I'm confident in what I do, and I get somebody in there, and I'll be like, I'm just gonna go for this on the first shot. Let's see if I can get them, and I'll shoot it. I'll look, and I'll be like, "Yeah, come here, look at that first one," and they're like, "What?" And I
never get it on the first shot. I'm click, 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 click. Oh, we're getting close. Click, click. I don't tell them that, but yeah, it takes me a few minutes to get it dialed in. Can I tell you something? And Johan, I want you to consider this. I don't care what it is that you're doing, whether it's martial arts, whether it's track and field, whether it's boxing, whether it is photography. Everybody starts off ice cold. I need to warm up as a photographer. They need to warm up as the subject. I always like if I'm shooting a professional model and they go, which outfit do you want me to do? I always choose the outfit I hate first. Like the one is like the least because I know I'm not going to get a good shot at first anyway. I need to warm up. She's not warmed up. And so I always pick the one I hate. Do that one. Because by the time the second outfit comes, I'm ready to go. She's warmed up, I'm warmed up, or he's warmed up, I'm warmed up, and we're ready to go. So I would try that, Johan. Yeah. All right. Any other advice for him, getting comfortable with? Because I know it is confidence, certainly.
Well, I mean, I have a story in the book about this because I teach what I teach, and I know what I know. And I had one student who took some of my class and ran with it and was an amazing photographer. So if you do have the book, read page 82 and 83. It's about Victor Velasquez and this one photographer had taken some of my courses, one of my headshot crew
Page
members.
82, 83 in the headshot.
The headshot,
right.
That's right here. But yeah, I think it's time behind the camera for you. So that's why one of my biggest tips is get a person in front of your camera, and don't think like my lighting setup and all that every time. Like don't like an iPhone or whatever camera you have every day. Just throw somebody in, direct them a little bit. You know, you could be doing whatever. It's just about that interaction between you and a person. And sometimes the shots don't always have to be perfect. Like I don't care, you know. I mean, if you have your setup and you're serious about what you're shooting, take your time and work with people. But if you're not shooting that day and you're hanging out with friends or something, somebody's got an interesting look, just say, hey, can I just mess around with you, get like 5 shots of you, and just bounce some ideas that you have in your head off on them with an iPhone or whatever you have. It doesn't matter, just to get that direction between people going.
Yeah, nothing replaces experience.
Yeah.
The more you do it, the better you'll get at it. Jennifer Kenneth says, that's a great tip with the clothing. I'm telling you, I'm like ice when I first start off. It's really, really bad. Johan says, thanks for the answer. I have been and still am so low in confidence, especially in myself. Johan, didn't Johan have his stuff critiqued on the grid once? I think he did. All right. And I would have known if it had been bad, I'd have known because Johan would have been, that's my stuff and all. Johan, you look, there ain't nothing to it but to do it. And
I'll work them up. If Johan's shooting headshots, you know, get him on the crew. We'll get him where he
yeah,
needs
you got to get on the headshot crew because I mean Peter's got a fantastic program. I've never talked to anyone that's been in his program that doesn't absolutely love it. So go to headshotcrew.com. Get all the information. Johan, I'm telling you what, you'll see big improvements in a small amount of time. And boy, I can tell when I've seen people in the headshot crew, you can tell. I mean, like when you see a really good headshot, you almost know they're in the headshot crew because that you have got that down. Literally, it's to an art that you can pass on to other people.
It's amazing. It's amazing to see what people do and where they go with it. And then every week we have headshot of the week, and it's getting so competitive now. Like for the winner of the headshot of the week, I'm like, this is insane. There's so many good headshots. Every month I do this thing called a PhD. You can get your PhD in photography on the headshot crew. You know what it is? Your stamp of approval, Peter Hurley direction.
Oh, I thought it was Peter Hurley diploma. I was thinking, okay, PhD.
Peter Hurley diploma. There we go.
I like it.
So those, and every month we have this thing, and they get to spend a couple days with me. They get like they get all this stuff if you win that. But there's like a gazillion shots, and they're so good. People have gotten. It's just really cool to see the learning curve of these people in there, because it blows me away. Because not only because of me, it's because of the support that I have from the mentors and associates in the crew. Because we have a wingman program. So once you're with us for 90 days, you get a wingman. So and the wingman situation is where it really happens.
They get you dates.
They get you. What?
They get you dates.
I don't know about the dates, but
oh, okay, sorry. Yeah, wingman usually means you're getting the wings from Pizza Hut.
Yeah, well, this
Wing
is
Street.
Wing, whatever it takes. You know, it could be it could be dates. It could be.
So after 90 days, I took you way off there. You get 90 days, you get a wingman. The wingman helps you along, like a protege, mentor kind of thing.
The wingmen and wingwomen have wingies, and they fire them up and get them going, and because I can't do it alone, and so thank you for all the wing people that are out there that are watching this, because you guys have been great. I really appreciate all the help they do. It's a voluntary thing, and the headshot crew members just want to do it to help others. So I think it's great.
That is a great thing about photography. When people get to a certain point, they really want to give back. A lot of photographers we see that in the KelbyOne community, where people that they just want to help. They're like, I've learned this, and even if it took them the hard way, they're like, I want someone else to benefit from what you've learned. But also what you do is you're able to communicate it so clearly that people can repeat it. There are a lot of photographers that are out there, and I don't mean to disrespect anybody, but they're teaching things that are very hard to replicate. Like, in other words, they're not communicating it in a way where you go, I could do that. But the way you do it, you think you watch Peter's thing and you go, I could do this. Like, you feel
definitely
like
do it,
I can do it. And then the proof is how many people in the headshot crew actually do it.
They're doing it.
They're doing it. They're killing it.
They're doing it.
Question for you here. This is from Mona. Mona says, Peter, have you ever photographed a terribly non-photogenic person? I'm probably the least photogenic person in the history of mankind. And I was wondering, what would you do in a situation like that?
Oh, my gosh. Mona, come on. Settle down. You got to watch my TEDx talk. Because on that, it's about bridging the self-acceptance gap and that we all have beauty in us. And I talk about it, I get emotional about it at the end. But the thing is that everybody's got beauty. So our job as photographers is to find it. It's there. It's your job to find it. I think a lot of photographers come in thinking they have to blow this person out of the park with a picture, you know. And the truth is, if Mona was in front of my camera, I need to take the best picture of you that's ever been taken. For me, that's a very low bar, I think, because most people haven't been in front of a professional's camera. If you work on your technique, you get a little bit better. I put somebody in front of my lights. Immediately, I'm already above any picture that they probably have, I believe. If I could get my lighting better than it is, I would do it. You know, I think it's really
Your
amazing,
lighting is awesome. It's perfect.
So now I've got that, and then this person comes in, and then I just work with their attributes or what they've got that their parents gave them that I can ascertain what their face is doing and which features I'm gonna I just did this on stage at Canon. A guy came in and I brought him up on stage in front of like all the people at WBBI.
He had a huge goiter.
He had a big nose. His nose was sizable.
He had a honker.
And I curved on one end. I lit it so that, and I watched it, and there were angles where it went straight. So I lit it so it went straight. I shot it, and the whole crowd went, whew. So we can do things. Now, he had the straight nose. I just had to know how to light it.
All right, but Peter, here's what's wrong with that. And I just want to be honest with you. Can I be straight with you?
Yeah, let me have it.
This guy's going to take that picture and he's going to put it on Match.com. And women are going to go, wow, this guy looks great. And then they show up for their date and the guy's got a honker.
I think he's still an attractive guy with the honker or whatever. I think he was fine.
Dude, I'm just messing. I'm totally messing with you. This is just totally messing with you.
Yeah. No, I think that our job is to do the best we can with the person that we have and find their beauty. And the beauty, believe it or not, it comes out the more chill somebody is. The more relaxed and more trusting in the photographer.
And you tell them to relax,
their beauty
right?
comes out. I don't tell them to relax at all.
Ever.
But the beauty comes out as we work with them. It's amazing to me. It blows me away. A lot of times I've had people in front of my camera and they're like, and I'm like, how am I going to get this person? You know, and then of course the shoot goes on and on and on, and things start to happen, and then it comes out. I've never had somebody walk in front of in my studio and go, Peter, you know what? I don't have to look so good today. You can throttle back. I know you're really good, but you can just throttle
just
right
take an
back.
average picture of me if you could.
I need. Everybody wants to look good, so it's our job to give them that. And they probably don't have it. So you're giving them a gift. You're documenting a point in their life, which is very powerful. I did this talk called The Power of the Portrait, and it's really interesting what I've gone through over the course of my career with people. And it just blows me away that we have this camera and we have the ability to change somebody's perception about themselves with one click of the shutter.
Yeah.
Can somebody write that down?
Somebody write that down. That was good. That was quotable. That was tweetable and quotable.
Somebody get that?
Somebody get that? Anybody?
Please.
All right. Can we go back to the guy with the schnoz?
No, I need that
What
one.
about the schnoz guy?
Can we? Did you get that? Can we go back?
Right.
I can't say it again. I don't know what I said.
No one can ever say it again. And when you say it, when you tweet it, put a little trademark in the end. All right. I have a tip for Mona. And Mona, this is going to sound maybe too simple when I say it, but honestly, I've seen this work for people. When I've had someone that every photographer has had people that in front of their camera that are unphotogenic, sometimes wildly unphotogenic. In most of the cases that I've seen, I can attribute it to almost one thing. Now, whether we are photogenic or not in front of a camera normally has to do with our facial structure. There are people who have a facial structure that the light just loves and the camera just loves. And we all know people who either look very attractive in person and you take a picture of them and they look terrible, or the opposite. They are, average looking in person and phenomenal in the picture, and it's because of facial structure and things. But if I find that someone is unphotogenic, it's almost always because of their smile. that they have a smile that is too big, it's too gummy, it makes their face look weird, but generally it's a fake smile and the smile basically says, I know I look bad. What you have to do, and this is what I would say, Mona, is have a friend that you trust, or a spouse, or one, take a picture of you, take a series of pictures of you, and then look at your smile. And I'll bet you're smiling like you've got some weird look on your face, and the look says, please let this be over. I know this looks bad. And if you really want to change your photogenicity,
I go with it.
Thank you. If you want to change your photogenicity,
that sounds better.
Thank you. If you want to change your photogenicity, you've got to find a smile that looks natural. And every time someone goes to take a picture of you, you put on that smile. I know a friend of mine who went through this exact same thing, and he thought he was terribly, and he finally realized by looking at pictures of himself, he goes, I have to do that smile. I look terrible in every shot. And to this day, and it's been 20 years, every picture of him has that exact smile, and he looks fantastic in every picture. He went from being incredibly unphotogenic to being super photogenic because he worked on his smile, and
that's called facial genics, by the way.
Thank you, facial genics.
Yeah.
So I would moan on a just practice level.
I just made that up.
I like that too. Practice on yourself. Find out what that smile is, because I'll bet you it's not your eyes. I'll bet you it's not your cheeks. I bet it's not your forehead. I'll bet it's not your hair. It's got to be your smile.
Well, I do talk about this, and it's in the book. The thing that moves, we can move our mouth, our eyes, and our eyebrows, right?
Right.
Things we can move on our face. You could probably move your nostrils. Some people can move
I
their
can't
ears.
do much with it.
I don't know. No, exactly. But
it's my daughter.
Hey, mouth, eyes, eyebrows. Mouth moves the most, by far. What can you do? You can open and close your eyes.
Right, you can just blink them.
Eyebrows in, up
a little
and down,
bit, just
right?
up and down, right? Yeah.
Mouth goes. There's like how many muscles that go into the mouth?
1,236.
It's just
it's a bunch.
Yeah.
All right. Well, anyway, that would be my tip to Mona there is work on that. Jeffrey says, "Hey, Peter and Scott, love both you guys. Cannot wait to see Peter's latest class." Kathy Bateson says, I've got a wedding shoot tomorrow. I better not tell them to relax. No, and there's nothing much you can do on a wedding day because they're going to be uptight already. So the real Becky from Cali, as opposed to the fake Becky, says, what are your recommendations for working with a group, like a family or a work team?
Oh my gosh, this is an awesome question because I just dealt with it. I just got, was on cloud nine because I'm a sailor at heart, and I grew up sailing, and I picked up a camera after my second Olympic campaign in 2000 and started shooting. And I got asked to go down to Bermuda to shoot Oracle Team USA, which is down there. Yeah, so I just got back. I was down there last week. Yeah, and I shot the entire team. I shot 80 people, and the thing that I always tell people when you're shooting a group, or whatever the group is, could be a bunch of people that work together, or it could be a team like this or whatever, always shoot individual headshots first, because there's a couple things that are going to go on. You're intimate with them. You get to know their face. You get to know how they because if you have to do a group shot afterwards, then you can direct. You're further away. You're further back, and you can say blah 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 blah. Do this. Do that. Do the other thing. I shot 80 people, and I'd be like, here's just an example. This. They're very closed down there because it's the America's Cup. Everything's top secret. You had to sign all this, your life away and stuff for stuff that you see, and which is really cool because to see this top of the sport. So there's this door that locks, and you can't get in or out without one of those little key cards.
Were there alien pods and stuff in there?
There was all sorts of stuff in there that I can't talk about. Stop it. This is, okay, we're on lockdown. Anyway.
We're on lockdown.
But this one, so I'm walking from where I was shooting the guys in this gym over to the other thing, and in front of me was a guy that was getting to that door, and his name happened to be Fresh, and I don't remember, that's what they call him. His name, hey Fresh, and he turns around and he goes, oh okay, I'll hold the door, and later on, I did that 5 times with people walking around that I had already shot, and they all were like, how didn't you remember my name? I'm like, well, yeah, I photographed you. I remember your name, you know, and it created, since I was there for 3 days, it created more. If you're on a job for an extended period of time, if you can get individuals in front of your camera, you're going to, just even walking around an office or anything, it's just going to create a comfort level with you being there for everybody. I don't know what it did for them, but for me, it was great. I just felt more comfortable because I had shot everybody.
Right,
and they
yeah.
asked me to, and I was like, I want to shoot everybody. Like, I don't want to just shoot the sailors. I want to shoot everybody, which was the coolest thing. It was so cool to be able to do that.
Hey, I would give you just some more advice while we're here. We have classes on KelbyOne.
Oh my gosh, my brother-in-law's watching.
If you're a KelbyOne member, go check out Tony Corbell. Did some great classes on shooting group shots. The other thing I would tell you is if it's a small group, 5 people, 7 people, up to about 20 people, just use one light. When you start putting up multiple lights, you start getting cross shadows and things get crazy. You start using a lot of lights on a group shot, you really better know what you're doing. But go over to KelbyOne.com, check out Tony Corbell's class on group portraits, and it's really great.
We have to update that picture.
Oh, yeah, there's a lot of hair in that picture of you. That's you right there, Peter. Right there on the front, on the homepage there. All right, let's see. Michael Thomas says, Peter, I'm new at this, but I recently did a corporate event where I shot over 60 people. At points, they were lined up 5 deep. Well, what do you recommend when you only have, at most, 5 minutes to pose, photograph, and have the client review an image?
Well, the first thing you have to do, if you can, it's way better to somehow seclude yourself in a room and put those 60 or 5 people that are waiting somehow outside or away from you or out of your line of vision and out of your subject's line of vision.
Yep.
Because the minute everybody's watching, they're laughing. The person's like, oh my gosh, I have to do this in front of everybody. It's ridiculous. So that's probably the biggest thing. If you can say, hey, I'll shoot that many people in this amount of time, but I need to make sure that nobody's watching or in their eye line. And that works out really well. I've done it where obviously they're standing there and the lineups there, and they're like, you feel the pressure of the next person wants to get out of there, wants to get in, and it's just better just to try to avoid that. If you have to deal with it, then the best thing that you can do is, as you're coaching, tell everybody to eavesdrop. Like, I turn around to them, I'm like, look, you're next. You better listen to this, because I don't have time for me to go over all these things again. You got to get your chin out. You got to get your squinch on. You got to blah, 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 whatever. And then they're going in like, okay, I got stuff to do.
Squinch on, isn't that in Korea?
There it is.
All right. Hey, we're going to take a short break. We got a bunch of questions, and there's so many good questions and stuff, including one, well, just a comment from your brother-in-law, Peter.
He's in Sweden.
He's in Sweden.
My Lisandro is his name. So, hi, Lisandro. Thanks for watching. Mia and Oriana and Yeli are right over here. We'll bring them on at the end, maybe?
Oh, yeah.
We bring the kids on at the end?
Absolutely.
Right.
We're going to take a short break. Don't go away. We'll be right back with Peter Hurley here on The Grid.
Hey guys, Terry White here, and I'm going to be at Photoshop World 2017, April 20th through the 22nd. I can't wait to share my new classes with you on Adobe Stock. I also have some updated classes on Adobe Muse and Lightroom and how to get started organizing your photos, and even the little things about Lightroom that most people don't even realize you can do. Can't wait. Photoshop World 2017 is going to be off the charts. See you there.
Hi everybody, Scott Kelby here. I want to tell you about my brand new class for people who are just getting started in photography. It's called Beginners Start Here, and I go through all the stuff. It really is a lot about camera gear and settings because it's the most important stuff you need to know right now. Now, I do something in this class you're not going to see anybody else do. Nobody wants to do this, but I did it. I'm going to give you my favorite f-stops. I'm going to tell you which lenses to use for what. I'm going to treat the whole class like you and I are out on a shoot, and if you said, hey Scott, we're out here shooting a landscape, what f-stop should I use? Boom, I'm going to tell you. Whatever we're doing, I'm going to give you the straight scoop on settings, on accessories, on the stuff that you need to know. If you're new to photography, this is going to take you to that next level. You're going to start making better pictures, you're going to do it quick, and it's exclusively here at KelbyOne.
Have you seen the fastest, best camera Canon has ever made? It's the 1DX Mark II. You're going to see it on sidelines of sporting events everywhere. It's super fast. It's amazing. And I just did a class about it at KelbyOne. So make sure you check out that class. And I know that only pros have a camera like this. So I didn't spend lots of extra time showing you all the little nuances and going through everything. Just went through everything you really need to know. Check it out only on KelbyOne.
We are back with one of my all-time favorite guests, an amazing photographer, and just, I know a lot of you guys see Peter on, screen and stuff and all, and you see him teaching and stuff and all, but outside of all that, Peter's one of just the greatest guys, just a really genuine, nice person, and someone that really, really cares about his students and cares about other people. That's why everybody loves you, except for Jen. Jen's never really liked you, but it's weird because
put up with me in
she
New
always
York.
says stuff like, I just don't like Peter Hurley. It's a running thing in the office. It was on her. It was her desktop pattern for a while.
Oh my gosh, it doesn't surprise me because I don't think we talked at all before we had to do this whole class in one day.
I know, it's like the day before.
Yeah.
And she flew up to New York, and she said, "Do I have to be with him that day?" And I'm like, "No, you can FaceTime in." All right. Robert Cottrill says, "Hi from Ohio. Just became a member. Welcome, Robert." Deb Usilka from freezing freaking cold Boston says, "Hi, Yiddle." She knows Yiddle's on the set. Let's see. Loopy Bridget says, "I am beyond excited for Photoshop World. I won't be able to decide what classes to attend."
I'm not going, guys.
I know Peter's not going to be there because Peter's going to be like in Europe or something.
I'm going to be in New Zealand.
New Zealand? I knew you were going to be
Australia,
somewhere. But
yeah.
we did invite Peter, and he said, "Honestly, I got a better offer from some foreign country
in the World Master
Games."
Games.
He's sailing in the World Master Games. Like, that's an excuse to miss Photoshop World. All right. Hey, speaking of Photoshop World, thanks for bringing that up. So it's coming up April 20th through 22nd. Yeah. Now, we are not going to have a Vegas one this year. The Vegas one, we're not doing because Adobe is doing their conference in Las Vegas at the same time. It's only how many days away? 56 days away. And so register now. You can save $100. If you're a KelbyOne member, you save another $100. So, like that. And got a bunch of questions and stuff. Hey, I do want to mention also Boston. I'm in Boston March 10th with my brand new Lightroom tour. And I'll be in Philadelphia on March 13th. So I hope you'll come out to one of those. Go to KelbyOneLive.com. Also, if you know anybody in Boston or Philly, you can just, send them a note. Hey, Scott's going to be in your town. You ought to go out. Blah, blah, blah. John Mayfield says, Photoshop World is the WrestleMania of the industry. I hope to go one day. And Elena says, I'm so glad I'm homesick today. This is an awesome episode, learning lots. We hope you get feeling better very shortly, though. Stinks to be not feeling well. And let's see. We've got, all right, here we go. David Lockhart, join the headshot crew, and people's headshots will get better very quickly. And Tanya says, Peter, I just watched your newest class on KelbyOne. Love it. Boom.
Awesome.
All right, Joey Wright. We talked about Joey earlier. Just got back from Cuba, and here's my tip to fellow photography friends. Don't fly a drone unless you want to get backstage access to the police station like I did.
Joey.
Oh,
Jeez.
Joey, you can't go to a communist country and fly a drone. Do you know what the rule is? When you go on the border, they hand you a piece of paper and it says, don't fly a drone. Do anything else while you're here in our communist country, but don't fly a drone. All right. Hey, so let's see. Christine says, hey guys, love your show. I've learned something every time without leaving my home. And she is from Australia.
She's in Australia.
She says she loves doing headshots. Now, have you ever been to New Zealand before?
I have been. I raced in 1995 there.
What a great play. What a wonderful country.
I'm excited to go back. I haven't been back since.
I love New Zealand. You know, while you're there, you got to see Trey Ratcliffe. He lives in New Zealand.
I know. I'll have to touch
He
base
lives in
with him.
Queenstown.
I know. I'm going to go down there and check it out.
He's a wonderful host. Like, if you get to go and hang out with him.
Oh, really?
Oh,
Okay,
and he lives in the coolest place. He told us all the best restaurants. We loved spending time with him and his family. He has a lovely, lovely family.
I'll have to check it out. Yelly won't go with me, though.
Oh, really?
I'm trying to get her to go. She's not going to go to New Zealand. What
You
can
should
you do?
so go. It's amazing.
I am. Can I mention that I am going to Australia afterwards, and I'm doing 2 workshops. I'm going to do the Headshot Intensive in Melbourne.
Very
and I'm
nice.
going to do the Headshot Intensive in Sydney.
Oh, you're going to have
we're gonna
such a
do
great
2
time.
there. Yeah.
Australia is just awesome. All right, Peter. This is Peter asking, a different Peter. Peter Holtman asks, he says, Peter, I've seen you shoot Phase 1 and Canon. What is your main system these days?
I only shoot Canon these days. I've got a 5D Mark IV and a 5 DSR.
Yeah.
And when I'm in the studio, I generally always shoot the 5 DSR.
because the
I'm in the
resolution
studio,
is just so crisp, right?
Love it, yeah. But I love the 5D Mark IV. I just got that one, and I use that for all my video stuff, and I use it for low light, and I use it when I'm doing more motion and stuff like that. So faster stuff or whatever.
I still use a 5D Mark III. I'm such a loser. All right, let's
by choice.
Let's see. Hey, Pam makes a good statement. Says, "Would you go with a surgeon who isn't confident?" That's a no. That was her comment. She said, "That's a no." All right. Miles Irwin says, he's talking. He says, "I sing in front of a lot of people." He's talking about it in front of his photo subjects. "I sing in front of a lot of people. I have been for 20 years. I still get nervous every time." Now, I can tell you, I get nervous every single time I step on stage. When I am in Boston on March 10th, when I step on stage to do my Lightroom, I've been teaching Lightroom for 10 years. When I step on that stage, I guarantee you I'll be nervous. Do you get nervous when you teach? I mean, you did that first time.
I haven't been, which I kind of like, but I look at it like I always equate it to sailing. I was training for 2 Olympic Games. I was really good. I mean, I don't sail as much anymore, but before every single race, I would get nervous. And then the start goes off, and the nerves, it's kind of like that with speaking. Like sometimes the nerves hit, but then you go, and then it just kind of drains out of you real quick. Whereas before, I would get really nervous and it wouldn't go away the entire time I'm speaking, which would be weird. I did sometimes other people's nerves would get like I at WPP I wasn't nervous at all this year, except for I had to introduce Sue Bryce to speak, and I was and she's like, "I'm so nervous." I was like, "What are you nervous about? Now you're making me nervous." And then I got up there and I was a little nervous, but so it can jump from other people to you. You know, I think the nerves.
All right. Friend wants to know, question, when is Scott back in the UK? I always ask this, but it's good to know. We love having Scott over here. Thank you, Fran. Fran, I don't have any plans to come to the UK. I ever since Brexit, I don't want to go. No, I'm just kidding. I'm totally a joke, 100%. I love the UK, and I have many friends there. But right now, I can't come up with a legitimate reason to go. Now, I have been going once a year to do one of my seminars. So I'm hoping, and I can't guarantee it because I'm not actually the person that picks the cities, but I would love to take my Lightroom seminar there and come up. That's a semi-legitimate reason to go. And my son always wants to go. He always just wants to go because he has a bunch of my friends in the UK are my son's friends now, and so he really wants to go. And so maybe. But so I don't have anything planned yet, but hopefully in the future. Trip 1900 says, "I did a headshot of my boss." Talk about nervous.
Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah. Very nice comment from Tim here. It says, "Peter, you and Scott have impacted my photographies more than you will ever know." That was very nice.
Tim.
Thank you, Tim. And Lawrence Paul Joulette Jr. says, "A new member from New Orleans." And John Mayfield has coined a term here, beardtography. That's it. That's the art of shooting someone in a beard. Fran says, question about the Guru Awards. Does the photo entered have to be taken or created in 2017? Nope, Fran, you can enter any photo anytime in all different categories and stuff like that. Well, guys, we're going to wrap up just with a couple of more of these 10 can't miss tips because we've only given about 6. So I already talked about the talking the whole time and keeping them engaged and stuff. You know what else I do? I do this often. If I want to build confidence, if I'm someone I can tell is nervous, I'll talk to them about the lights. Like I use really big softboxes, generally really big, like 53-inch, 72-inch, just giant softboxes. You know what I'll tell them? I'll go, all right, we're going to start shooting here in a second. See this giant softbox? This softbox does one thing. It makes people look fabulous. I brought this one out because we're going to make the most fabulous shots. And they're like, really? Like, yes. And, of course, a big softbox, I really feel like that. You know, a big softbox it's like cheating, right? And so, and I did. And one of the shoots yesterday, I said, see this softbox? This softbox is awesome. It's so big because it's so awesome. This is one of the most beautiful softboxes. It was designed to make people look incredible. We're going to get great shots today. It's almost like a pep talk. Like, we're going to rock this and don't worry about it. I got this. The softbox is amazing. I'm using a really great camera. Let's go. So that's one thing that I do, honestly, is I let them know. And I also sometimes will talk about why I'm using a particular lens. Like, and again, it's to build their confidence. And they're like, oh, I don't like the way, I don't hate the way everything. Don't worry. I'm using a 70-200. Do you see this lens? Here, I'll let him hold it. Here how heavy it is. Oh my gosh, this thing is so heavy. You know why it's so heavy? Because it's awesome. This is an awesome lens. This lens lives for one purpose, to make people look awesome. You are going to look awesome. Do not worry. And they're like, it almost like relieves them. Like, okay, good. He's shooting with a good lens. I really feel that way about the lens. I mean, I feel like, gosh, a 7200, it's just awesome. But letting them know about it, letting them know, like if I move the light or something, I'll even tell them, I just want to get a little more shadow on the other side of your face. I'll just tell them because I'm still talking.
Yeah.
If you lose your connection to the subject, it's very hard to get it back.
For sure.
Like if all of a sudden you become disconnected and it goes quiet for a while,
you're going downhill fast.
You go downhill fast. So anyway, that was one of my tips. You got to give us a tip.
Well,
for
I
connection.
think one of the things that you said, which was really great, is that you don't coach them before they're in front. You talk about other stuff. I do the same exact thing. I don't talk about photography at all until they're in front of my camera, and then I'll give them coaching. Because if you do it before they're in front of your camera, now it's creating this performance-based anxiety. Oh, wait, now I have to do this first, Peter, to look good. And I don't know what that is. But if you do it when they're in front of the camera, they're just in the midst of it, and it's much easier on them. I had a bunch of stuff in my brain that I was thinking about while we were talking. That one.
Well, I'm gonna go walk and grab a prop. So hang on for 1 second. Just don't move, don't breathe, don't make a sound.
Where's he going?
I got to figure out where it at. Oh,
he's got a prop. I have to think about, what is it, a guitar?
No, it's a camera.
Oh, no, it's a camera.
So I got a tip for you.
Wait.
Oh, you got yours?
I got one.
Did you come
yeah,
back?
it came back. This is huge. Like, I hope everybody watching this really enjoys photography, and especially photographing people. So I'm like a kid in a candy store when I get the lighting right and when I get somebody in there, and especially, when I'm doing headshots, and the same thing I do on a daily basis, I get excited about expression and stuff like that. But whenever I do something that's a little bit off, like try a different lighting setup or do something, I get so excited that I can see the pictures, the person, their face is reacting to my excitement of being like a kid in a candy store. So, and you can see the energy coming out of them. And I know I have specific images that I've taken where I see that, and I love them because I know the person that felt it. And then, and it goes beyond the photo shoot, because after you're done and stuff, you could feel a connection with that person. And I love having that.
They are a mirror of you.
Yeah.
And if they see your excitement and your enthusiasm, they get excited, get enthusiastic. This is the tip I wanted to give you, and this is something that we do as photographers, and I want you to consider something. So let's say that I'm taking, can we go one up on me here, Wani? So let's say that I'm taking, and get it nice and reasonably tight. Not crazy. Okay, that's good enough. Okay, so let's say that I'm taking a portrait of you, all right? You're in my studio. Now, I can tell you I would never, ever, ever put a flash on top of my camera and shoot you like this. I would only do this to you if you had done me wrong. Like you had done something and I needed to even the score. This is what I would do. I would never do this, but I'm just gonna here, I'll at least bounce it so I don't feel quite so bad, but I wouldn't do this either. You would not see the flash on top of here unless I had to use it to trigger another flash, but that's not the case. You and I I'm taking a portrait of you. So you and I, here's how we're working together, okay? Okay. All right. Put your chin down just a little bit. All right. Okay. Now, all right. Put your chin out. All right. Give me a little squinch. All right. This is what they're seeing when I'm photographing you. All they see is me hidden behind a camera the whole time. How are you going to connect with your subject if this is what they see this, or they see this, and then you pick it back up? I'm looking at you. I'm looking at you through here. And then I'm looking at you here. What's your connection to me right now? You're just seeing part of my forehead. How could you possibly connect with somebody? So I know, do you shoot on a tripod? You do quite a bit.
I do. I do.
When you shoot on a tripod, you have the opportunity to use a wireless remote or a regular remote and then actually talk to your subject. You can actually, you're talking with them, they're connecting with your eyes, you're looking at them, you're laughing, you're telling stories, click. You have it right in your hand and ready to go. There are advantages to shooting on a tripod and not keeping your camera pressed to your face. If you want to get a better connection with your subjects, you got to connect with them. Connection is done with our eyes. Like, you know, Peter was talking about the 3 things that can move on your face. The thing we connect with really is our eyes. They need to see your eyes. You need to see them. And you also need to capture those moments that are between the poses. Especially, like, you know, guys come on a set, and I don't know if you have noticed this, but guys have like 2 looks on a set. Like they fall into their poses, their different poses. And then in between those poses, when you're talking to them about something other than photography, and this is what you do so well. If you watch one of Peter's videos, the way you engage people, now you talk to them a lot about their pose and things like that, but you'll say stuff like, I remember you taking my portrait. In fact, the portrait that you guys see of me that is used every single day for years, it was taken 14 years ago by Peter. No, it was taken a few years ago in Peter's studio in New York. We were there actually working on your book.
Yeah.
And Peter's like, let me get a picture of you, you know, and it was so interesting to be on the other side of your lens because you, as engaging as you are in person, you get behind a camera and you're so funny. And at one point,
you're not going to go into what I told.
No,
Brad.
I'm not. He said no. But he said some things like, you know, like turn your navel towards the Tropic of Capricorn. And I'm like, what? Click. And he's firing these shots in between. And it was like, wow. He says things that all of a sudden you're like, they're so crazy. It gets this great expression, but it gets a natural expression. Nobody coming to you to get you to do a portrait is going to want a posed, stiff, stupid looking one. And you are really, really great about breaking through that barrier. And you, in the last chapter of the book and on your Hurleyisms.com, you're saying, look, here's some things to try. But you can't be really super serious and then try one of Peter's lines. You're going to go, they don't work. You have to build that rapport. But part of the rapport is putting down the camera. It can't be the camera and covering your face or you looking down at the back of the screen.
When you're doing a headshot, though, you need. So what I do is like, if I'm here, get me close up now. So
yeah,
what I do is I coach them over here, but I'm on a tripod usually, so the camera's on a tripod, and I'll coach them on what to do. But the minute that I have to get a facial expression out of them, I have to do what I call camera talk, but it's only at the moment after I've set up everything. So camera talk is here, because if their eye contact has to be in the lens, I don't want them to connect with me over here because I'm over here. I want them to connect through the camera like this, but I've already built the rapport over here.
Right.
So you have to build the rapport, but when you're actually getting down to the nitty-gritty, you've got to camera talk them like this. So I want all my photographers to make sure they built it here, but when the moment of the shutters going, it's usually there, unless you're using off camera or you're doing a portrait or something like that, or even if I'm shooting a model or something, they don't have to make eye contact with the camera, but when the eye contact's with the camera, I really want to be in the camera so they're looking. You know what's strange? When people shoot mirrorless, how many people out there shoot mirrorless and they go like this, and then now they're looking at the back of the screen instead of going to the viewfinder? That's strange for the person. Have you ever been photographed like that? It's strange for the person.
Only at amusement parks.
Anyway, so if you do shoot mirrorless, make sure you get your eye up to that viewfinder.
All right, Matt Charniski has a great comment here. He says, KelbyOne needs a class on how not to murder people when they say, that's an amazing photo. You must have a really good camera. It's like telling a chef, this dinner was so good, you must have amazing pots and pans. Richard House says, which zoom lens should I upgrade to on a 7D Mark II for portraits? I currently own a Canon 55-250 and the 18-50 kit lens. Cheers. Any comments, Peter?
I like the 24-105 f4.
25.
If he's going for that big of a range, I like the 24-105. I've been using that a lot lately. But if you need 2.8, then you got to go 24-70.
Yeah, you're probably, well, it depends. If you're shooting, you know what I would go, consider this. A lot of people don't talk about this, but it's a great value. Canon makes a 70-200 f4.
Yeah, that's the one I shoot most of the time.
It's lightweight. It is half the weight of the 70-200 f2.8.
Yeah.
and about a third of the cost. So really good.
And you can get image stabilization in it or not, which brings the price. I don't use image stabilization because I'm on a tripod and I don't. You're not going to
be shooting at a 30th of a second or anything like that. Yeah.
So I went with the 70-200 f4, which is my lens of choice. When I'm shooting my headshots, it's usually that lens. But when I got the Mark IV, I got the 24-105. I used to use that too.
I have a 24-105. Hey, I just real quickly, we're gonna have to wrap things up. We got some giveaways. I want to tell you where to get those. Just want to mention our buddy Frank Duerhoff, who was amazing at lighting. You know Frank.
Big Frank.
Does Frank rock
I
it or
shot
what?
Frank's headshot too.
Did you?
Yeah.
You're the man.
Oh yeah.
All right.
I get it done.
So it's funny because Peter asked me, "Are you going to use my headshot?" I'm like, "Am I going to use your headshot?" Of course I'm going to use it. I've been using it for years. Frank Duerhoff has got a workshop in New Jersey on April 30th. Now, I don't think there's hardly any seats left in Frank's workshop. If you think you're going to go now. So that is in...
Where is it?
It's in Little Falls.
Okay.
Little Falls, New Jersey, which is not Newark. So it's okay to go there. It is coming up April 30th. Make sure Frank does not come to the United States very often, but when he does, it's a very special event. He's a tremendous workshop leader and just a really good person. Go check him out. You can find more at Frank Duerhoff. That's DOOR, like door. FrankDuerhoff.com/site/New Jersey. Such an easy website address. FrankDuerhoff.com/site/New Jersey. Go check it out. I've talked to so many people that have been to Frank's workshops and they just rave them about them. Let's see. Miles Irwin says, I think showing a genuine interest in your subject is great advice. Ask about them and who they are. Don't talk about yourself. That is great advice. And let's see, anything else? I think we need to talk about the contest. So here's where you go to win the contest or to enter the contest that you may or may not win. Go to KelbyOne.com/contest. When you go there, you will see a little comment field. Well, first choose that you're watching the grid so we know what you're watching. Then, in the comment field, tell us what you want to win. Your choices are a signed copy of Peter Hurley's The Headshot Book, one of 2 Lens Pro To Go cards. See, right there's the comment field. You have to tell us what you want. Again, don't put in for the Lens Pro To Go unless you're in the United States. And apparently no one watching today is. Everyone, Bill Way's like, headshots in Australia. You know, everyone's like from someplace else. Rose Kieran, Rose is from New Zealand. Everybody's from someplace else. But we still, if you happen to be one of the 4 people watching from the United States, you have a 50-50 chance of winning a Lens Pro To Go gear guide. You can find out more about Lens Pro To Go at lensprotogo.com. We're also giving away a 1-year membership to KelbyOne. So that's unlimited access to over 600 classes. You get Photoshop User Magazine, you get Lightroom Magazine, you get discounts, you get all kinds of fun stuff. You get Juan's cell phone number. Call anytime, preferably at night. Juan appreciates a call late at night. All right, so there.
Can we talk about my Headshot Crew workshop page?
The next words out of my mouth were, Peter, what else you got going on?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Can you guys bring up headshotcrew.com/workshops?
Yeah.
This is where I'm
Headshotcrew.com.
adding workshops as we speak. There's one that's coming up in Detroit in April that I have to get on there. And I've got them in Berlin, Munich, Vienna,
New York,
and I've
London,
got New York,
Paris,
I've got New
Munich.
York. I haven't done
Everyone
Paris.
talk about Peter's workshops.
There we go.
Talk about.
So this is where you can see where I'm going and where I'm headed, and you can click on my classes. See that? Straight to KelbyOne right there.
Pops you up.
And I'll be adding some throughout the year. I've got more coming up in New York, and I always try and do them when I'm home. But it's, that's where you can also check out the Headshot Crew, and I'd love to see inside if you want to take a look at all that stuff.
And where can we find you on Twitter?
I'm on Twitter, Peter_Hurley on Twitter and Instagram, and Facebook. It's /Peter Hurley Photo.
Peter Hurley Photo. Well, Peter, thank you very, very much. I appreciate you working. You're like here with your family, and you're on vacation, and you're racing and all, and you still fit the grid in the middle of it. It's
Can
very
I bring
kind
them
of you.
on to say hello?
I would love for you to bring them.
Can I
on.
bring my children over here?
Yeah.
And my wife? Can you guys come over here?
They are all the opposite of Peter, in which they actually do have hair.
You have to see this hair. Yelly, are you getting on here?
Yeah,
Come
she's
over here,
getting on
girls.
here.
Are you guys enjoying yourselves in Florida? Yeah, you guys, this is the crew.
Hello.
Wait, we're missing one. The mama. Baby, get over here. And then we got to take a shot for Instagram. So I'll take a shot with Scott and the family, and we'll throw it up on my Instagram. Peter_Hurley. All right, here we go.
All right, let's there. Oh, look, there's the shot right there. There it is. Everybody, check your stuff. I got a shout out here to my buddy. Gave me a shirt. It says Bella Cucina. Roberto Pisco gave me this shirt. It's my made-up Italian phrase, Bella Cucina. It really means nothing. It's just like pretty kitchen. But it's like a personal joke between us. So wearing my Bella Cucina shirt today.
That's awesome.
All right. And thank you. Thanks, everybody. And cheers to the whole Hurley crew who is here with us today. And thanks to all of our crew here. And Leighton, who was switching the show today. Meredith, Meredith, our director? She's getting married Friday.
Oh, really? Wow,
Yeah.
cool.
She came in our office today. She says, I have to go. I'm getting married. So she will be out for a few weeks. Good job at switching the show today, Leighton. Thanks to Juan, Jen over there, everybody. Thanks to Yiddle. And we'll catch you guys next time here on The Grid. Take care, everybody.
Thanks, guys.
Hurley crew.
Bye.
I've been here 4 times. I continue to learn new and fabulous things about photography and Photoshop and Lightroom.
If you come here with one thing on your mind, you're probably going to end up leaving with interest in other areas.
You want to stay in the know and stay on the cutting edge. This is the place to do it.
Anyone that has a passion for creative things, photography, design, they attend Photoshop World.